be like this, and you might go, "Is that Maman?" Like if you might point to me, but don't. And I don't know, and then I'll tell you. Okay, you can go. Okay. Hi, Bob. Nice to see you. Oh, Michelle's gonna come by and pick him up, and she's not gonna stay, but he's just waiting for her to pick him up. So yeah, and that's what he's excited for.
He's excited.
Because Mia had his sister, right? Mia had a play date just now, so they were out, and I was with him, and so now he's waiting to see them again. I'm just chopped liver, you know. I'm gonna get my.
I am playing Rabbi tonight. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, and Eve has this thing that she does at home with young families the last Friday night of each month. Why not? Look at that. So what do we usually do about candle lighting?
We haven't started doing it, but we might as well because it's now that
Light?
we can invite someone to do it. Cantor Shivers, invite Dana, so anybody, or ask volunteers or not. Let me get my guitar. And we usually do this. We've moved it around a few times. We once did it here, found it too early, and Rabbi Eva's been introducing it right before shooting. But anywhere you want, anywhere that you want, you feel you can go, I'll be fine with that. Because I'm not married to any particular spot. Okay.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So Cantor Posen, Rabbi Posen does a program at her home with young families the last Friday night of each month. So when Rabbi Kosak was going to be away, she said, on the last Friday night of February and the last Friday night of March, would I, rusty me, come out of retirement to lead the Friday evening service? So here I am. Shabbat Shalom. Cantor Shivers, would you come and a month ago, by the way, it was still too dark to light the candles before services. So it's now March. Look how light it is.
Yeah. I'll take it.
So,
Hi, Cantor. I'm seeing double. I'm a Cantor, she's a Cantor.
first one. No, there you go. Trick candles.
There's a bit of air in
It's
here.
air conditioning, yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat shalom.
Amen. Shabbat shalom. Yishar koach. Thank you.
So Cantor, we'll start page 5. Shalom Aleichem.
Let's do it. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon. Mi melech Malchi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Melachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi melech Malchi HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon. Mi melech Malchi HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We turn to page 11. The Kabbalat Shabbat begins with a series of psalms, Psalm 95, 96, 97. We'll talk about some psalms a little later. That the Kabbalists from Tzfat really introduced to the service. So Kabbalat Shabbat precedes the beginning of the Mariv service. L'chuna Ranan on page 11.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena Adonai. Naria, naria, etzuri sheno, nekadma fanav v'toda. Naria, naria, etzuri sheno, Bizmiron Rialo, Lechuneranena, Lechuneranena, Lechuneranena Adonai, Lechuneranena, Lechuneranena, Lechuneranena Adonai, Lechu, 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 Lechuneranena, Lechu, 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 Lechuneranena. El Gadol Adonai, ומלך גדול על כל אלוהים, אשר בידו מחקרי הארץ, וטועפות ההרים לו. לכו, 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 לכו נרננה, או לכו, 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 לכו נרננה, אשר לא היה והוא עשהו, שידיו יצרו, בואו נשתחווה ונכרע, נברכה לפני אדוני עושנו. לכו, 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 לכו נרננה, לכו, 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 לכו נרננה. כי הוא אלוהינו, ואנחנו אמר איתו, וצור ידו, היומים וקולו תשמעו. לכו, 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 לכו נרננה, לכו, 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 לכו נרננה. אל תקשו לבבכם כי מריבה, כיום מסע במדבר, אשר ניסוני אבותיכם, בחנוני גם ראו פועלי. לכו, 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 לכו נרננה, או לכו, 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 לכו נרננה. הרביים שנקול בדור, כלומר עבדו אל לבבם, והם לא ידעו דרכי, אשר נשבעתי באפי, הם יבואו על מנוחתי.
So 6 Psalms that deal with 6 days of the week. The last started with 95. The last is out of order because on page 21, before we get to Lecha Dodi, is Psalm 29. That focuses actually on Kol Adonai, the voice of God.
For some reason, oh, that's what now. Okay.
21.
Yep. Mizmor leDavid, Hamul Adonai v'Eli. Is this the right song? Okay, I said 21, Psalm 29. See the confusion in my head? When you get to my age. Mizmor leDavid, Hamul Adonai v'Eli. Hamul Adonai kavod va'od. Hamul Adonai kevod shemo yishtachamul Adonai be'adra kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod yirim. Adonai al mayim, mayim rabim. Kol Adonai v'koach. Kol Adonai be'adar. Kol Adonai shover arazim. משבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון וירפידם כמו עגל לבנון וסיריון כמו בן רמי. כל אדוני חוצם להבות אש, כל אדוני יכיל מדבר, יכיל אדוני מדבר קדש. כל אדוני יכול לילות ויחסוך יערות ובכלו כולו מרכבו. אדוני עליו אבון ישב וישב, אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. איי, 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 איי,
If you love that psalm,
Yes.
you can come tomorrow morning when we return the Torahs to the ark. The cantor will sing the same psalm.
But from my house, because I'm not here tomorrow morning, it's a
It's a combined minyan.
combined minyan.
We will sing the same psalm,
go.
Psalm 29 tomorrow morning.
Amen.
Completely different melody. So, by the way, one of the exciting things I think of actually going when I attend an Orthodox synagogue, but a knowledgeable conservative synagogue as well. One of the most exciting things is who gets to lead the service? Because whoever gets to lead the service chooses the melodies. And of course, a knowledgeable congregation knows 3, 4, 5, 6 melodies to the same prayer. Sometimes people say, I can't sing along with the cantor because he changed the tune to Adon Olam. Well, you got to have, you got to go along with the flow. And then all of a sudden, the cantor will come up, or whoever's leading the service, comes up with a brand new melody. And you say, ooh, I never heard that one before. And usually the melodies are easy enough that you can sing, that you can sing along. So L'Chadodi is one of those. How many melodies do you know for L'Chadodi?
2. I'm just kidding. I know.
You disappoint me, cantor.
I know a bunch. How about you, Rob?
Sure.
Bunch.
So L'Chadodi, a favorite, welcoming the Sabbath Queen, which separates those 6 psalms from the psalm for Shabbat, page 23, L'Chadodi.
So all this talk about new stuff, and I might as well, now you got me wanting to do this. This is a melody that I've done a few times at Neve Shalom, not many times. Not so many that you're going to go, oh yeah, I know this like the back of my hand. But it is very easy to learn, to sing along with.
What stanzas, how many do
We're going to do the first 2 and the last 2. And I'll do, I think, just the first 2 to this, and then we'll go to something else.
And the last 2 are on the next part, are on page 25.
Yeah, 23 and then 25. All right. Lecha dodi di לקראת כלה, לה, לה, בני שבת נקבל, לה, 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 לך דודי, די, די, לקראת כלה, לה, לה, בני שבת נקבל, לה, 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 שמורה וזכורה בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, לה, לה, בני שבת נקבל, לה, 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 לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבל, לה, 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 לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, לה, לה, בני שבת נקבל, לה, 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 לך דודי, לקראת כלה, לה, לה, בני שבת נקבל, לה, 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 לה. Now, page 25. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, את אדוני תריצי, על ידיש בן פצי, ונשמחה ונגילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, אוי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עושה גאולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
May be seated. The L'Chadodi, which is such a favorite, is a very complicated text. But I have a homework assignment for you. There's only one human being, one character that's mentioned in L'Chadodi. It was in the second to last paragraph that we just did. You'll see the second to last paragraph says, "You will spread out to the left and the right, acclaiming Adonai, our God, with delight. Redeemed by the skin of Peretz's line, we shall joyously chant songs of praise. Homework assignment. Find out who Peretz was. Peretz is a character in the book of Genesis. Not a major character. We know all the major characters in Genesis, right? We're starting with Adam and Eve, and we have Noah, we have, in all these lines, we have Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah and Rebekah. It's none of those. Look up. See, if I was here next Friday night, I would ask who did their homework. Okay.
I'll let you know.
Find out who Peretz was. Homework assignment. Okay, page 26, where traditionally we greet mourners, or acknowledge mourners with and we say to both for Stephanie Kahn and Betcha Tenser. Okay, both of whom passed away in this last week?
Stephanie Kahn, March 28th.
Okay.
Well, no, I see, I don't know the date. Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, she would.
And we say the traditional blessing, Hamakom Yinachem Etchem Betoch Sha'ar Avelei Tzion B'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you among the other mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. Page 27.
Yeah. Where are we here? Mizmor Shir. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, טוב להודות לאדוני, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, טוב להודות לאדוני. עלי עשור וליל אבל, עלי היגיון בכינור, כי שימחתני אדוני פעולך במעשה ידיך ארעלן. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני. פרלו ידע בפרח ששעים כמו אסד. כי הנה אויביך
אדוני, כי הנה אויביך יאבדו.
תשמענה אוזני.
תרעם קרני, ולותי בשמן רענן, ותאבדי ממשורי, וקמים עלי מרעים תשמענה אוזני.
צדיק אתה אמר יפרח, כרז בלבנון יזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינובון בסבע, דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד, כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא אמרתה, עוד מלאך ולבש. עדותיך נמנו מאוד לביתך עליו הקודש, אדוני
And then you have a cantor like our cantor who sings the tefillot to melodies, and you say, I know that melody. Where do I know it from? So this was from the beginning?
The other one was from What a Wonderful World.
What a wonderful, of course. So I want to share with you that the conservative movement, the Rabbinical Assembly and the conservative movement, has a commission called the Social Justice Commission. It's going to become much more prevalent because someone granted the Social Justice Commission $3 million, which means that we will soon have a director. But the Social Justice Commission is made up of a group of committees on various issues that are social justice issues that are important to us. I happen to be the chairman of the Food Justice Committee. The issue of hunger has always been a very, very big issue for me. So we're going to talk about food. I want to begin with, of course, one of the most familiar and ubiquitous brachot that we recite, right? And something that you may or may not have thought about before. Right? We say, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, which makes no sense whatsoever. Because God does not bring bread forth from the earth. Right? We make bread, but bread needs more products than simply the wheat or from whatever we make the bread from. So we don't say hamotzi kemach min haaretz. We don't say who brings forth flour from the earth, but we say who brings forth bread from the earth, which implies a partnership between the source of the original product and our human endeavor, our human engagement to create from that bread. Okay, I want to use a term that is very popular right now. I want us to put a pin in that. And I want us to turn to two other familiar psalms. The most well-known psalm for the rabbis was, there are 150 psalms in the book of Psalms, but the rabbis in particular liked Psalm 145. Which is Psalm 145 that begins with a couple of stanzas before that, but we know it as the Ashrei. And as a matter of fact, we've put a couple of phrases of the Ashrei on the gates outside. They're really sort of obscure, but they're there. Of the phrases of the Ashrei, and the Ashrei, of course, is an alphabetic acrostic that everybody who's familiar with the prayers, it's an alphabetic acrostic, but there's a letter missing. That's not, of course, my interest right now, but the rabbis liked one line of the Ashrei most in particular, and that was the line that begins with a pei, Poteach et yadecha umaspia l'chol chai ratzon. Official translation: God provides access to raw material. I'm sorry. You give it open-handedly, feeding every creature to its heart content. You happy with that verse? Let me say it again. You, being God, give it even-handedly, feeding every creature to its heart's content. It's a problem, right? We know enough, and it's not that we're so sophisticated, but we know that that's not how the world exists. Let me give you, of course, even a worse verse or not worse, but another verse from Psalms that you're probably familiar with, who's presents us with even more problems. Near the end of the Birkat Hamazon, the blessing that we recite after eating, we sing a song. Nar hayiti gam zakanti velo ra'iti tzadik nezav v'zaro mevakesh lachem. Translation: I have been young and am now old, but I have never seen a righteous man abandoned or his children seeking bread. Comfortable with that line? I have been young and now am now old, but I have never seen a righteous man abandoned or his children seeking bread. We have an issue in our house when we get to Birkat Hamazon and we get to this one. Carol won't include that line. All right? Won't include that line because it's not true. It's not true that we're dealing with issues of abandonment, issues of hunger, and that's the line right from Psalms. It's actually from Psalm 37. What's that? It's not true because she's not old. We're getting older. Well, what are we supposed to do with these verses, especially this last one, which is not just something that the rabbis made up, it's a quotation that the rabbis pulled out and they inserted it in the end of Birkat Hamazon. Well, there are several attempts at explanations, but one of them is a statement that the righteous don't give up on God even when times are tough. It's a nice explanation, but it's not a good explanation for the claim that the righteous are not hungry. Let's go back to the pin, because here we have the Hamotzi Lechem min haaretz, we said before, which we said was a partnership. God provides us with the chomer gelem, with the raw material, and it's our obligation now to create a sense of fairness and justice in the world. And therefore, when it comes to issues of hunger, it is we who live, especially we who live in America, we don't have a shortage of food. We have an overabundance of food. We take food that we grow here and we transfer it. We send it overseas because we have so much food. Our grocery stores are overflowing. And yet at the same time, SNAP, which used to be called food stamps. Anybody have any idea how many Americans receive SNAP? 47 million Americans receive SNAP allocations. Now, we have all been hearing in the news about Medicare and Medicaid, and we've been hearing about Social Security and what's happening. I suspect you have not heard a thing about SNAP. We've all heard about all those other, we haven't heard about SNAP. SNAP is part of the agriculture allocation. SNAP is out of the same budget for which the farming allocations come from. All of that is come together. So the agriculture budget is now going to come, is now in preparation. but you haven't heard about it because what's being proposed is a 20% cut in SNAP. By the way, 47 million Americans, that's a lot of people. 47 million people, and there are probably more that qualify, but 47 million are qualified and receive SNAP. That's 1 out of every 5 children in the country. 1 out of every 5 children in the country gets SNAP. So we have young families. What's the next large group that receives SNAP? The elderly. The elderly. Even so they may get Social Security, the elderly, many of whom who live entirely on Social Security, qualify for SNAP. What does a cut of 20% mean? Several years ago, Governor Kulongoski, people remember Governor Kulongoski? Governor Kulongoski put out a challenge. And the challenge was for individuals to live for a week on a food stamp budget. And we did it. At that time, it was, now that's several years ago, it was an allocation of $3 per person per day. Okay, Carol said, well, can we do this? Well, you don't eat any meat, certainly. You don't eat any cheese. You eat eggs, right? Actually, the price of eggs is coming down. But we made it through the week, and then got to be Friday morning. And on the way out the door, I said to Carol, I'll get the challah. She said, oh, no, you won't. Because a challah costs $6. And that would be our entire allocation for both of us for the whole day. Well, the allocation now is somewhat larger. Today, the allocation is $6.20 per person per day. That's the SNAP allocation. Now, yes, people have additional resources from their savings, from Social Security, from other sources, but you're supposed to be able to live on that. 20% means that those people who are now getting $6.20 per person per day will get $5 per person per day. That's what's being proposed. By the way, SNAP is supposedly one of the most efficient allocations that is for the government. What are we hearing about? We're hearing about waste, abuse, and fraud, right? Waste, abuse, and at a certain point, how much food can you eat? Right? How much food can you eat? So this is not a source of a real source. Is there any fraud? Probably, and waste and abuse. But to cut $238 billion over the next 10 years from the is in the United States. I'm not talking about poor countries. I'm talking about the United States. I would say to you, it's shameful that we have to do that. So my committee, my Food Justice Committee, is we're going to try and do whatever we can to bring this to I don't know how much power we have to publicize this coming, because otherwise it'll just go through and no one will pay any attention. And I think it's important to pay attention, because these are the least among us. I suspect we all have full refrigerators. I'm having a conversation with my wife that we have no room in our freezer. It's, there are people who live in our community, live down the block, who don't have full refrigerators. So I want everybody to be aware, and where when you can raise the issue about what we're doing about food and what we're doing about SNAP, about getting enough food, if it's food, to people. This is really very, very important. Shabbat Shalom. Yeah. Pardon me? Yes, it is supplemental, yes. But there are very, very strict guidelines to qualify for.
Incidentally, there was I don't know if it was at one of the last Cantor Oil conferences I was at. I don't know if it was the one in Palm Springs this January or in Minneapolis before, but there was a different committees we recognized that were involved in these joint clergy programs, and I was very excited to see, Rabbi, your name appear on that committee. I was like, oh, I know that guy. And so we were represented in multiple ways in our congregation. It was nice to see. Hashikoach.
Let's turn Kabbalat Shabbat. We've completed. Ma'ariv. Let me ask everyone please to stand for the Baruch Hu, page 39a.
Baruch et Adonai mevorach, Baruch Adonai mevorach leolam vaed, Baruch Adonai mevorach leolam vaed, Baruch Adonai melech haolam.
You may be seated.
מעביר יום מביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ואין ברוך אתה אדוני המרכיב הרבים.
Page 40.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח ברכך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ואין כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה ותחל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל עבדיך ישר וחצי ביתך ושאתה לבניך ודיברת בו ושאתה קצת מזוזו ביתך איך למען ירבו והיה עם שם תשמעו זאת ישר אנוכי מצווה אתכם לאהבה ושמת את דבר אלי על לבבכם אשריכם ושאתם אותם לראות תגידכם ויאמר אדוני אשר לאמור דבר ונישא מטה עליהם צורים ציצית תקשיתם לראותם ונתנו הציצית תקרבתם והיה לכם ציצית תוריתם אותו ושנאתם מכל שטן בסתם אותם ולא תטולו חלי לבבכם שאתם זונים חלמן תסגרו ועשיתם מכל שטי ויתם קדושים לכם אני אדוני לכם מה שעשיתם צריכים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohechem emet.
Turn to page 44, middle of the page.
ומלכותו ורצון קיבלו עליהם משה מרים ובני ישראל לחם שירה ושמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות אוסף אל מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה זה ליאנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר יפדה אדוני את יעקב גלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני קהל ישראל השכיבנו. A word about the melody I do for this. I've been doing this melody for years, and I'm finally releasing it to Apple Music and all those things. I've done a professional recording of it. It'll be coming out next Friday, and the video will be there too. One of the things that's taken long is I wanted to do it kosher and get the proper publishing rights and do all that stuff. So all that came in this morning. So look out next Friday for a proper video of all that stuff and the music.
So we'll all listen, and then Kendra, you can use all of us to write an approval.
Approval, right. Thank you. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים, לחיים, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, 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 ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך, מלפניך, והושיענו למען שמך, והגן בעדנו, ויסר עלינו אויב דבר וחרב, ורב יגון השכיבנו לשלום, שלום, והסר שטן מלפנינו, לפנינו, לפנינו, מאחרינו, אחרינו, 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 ובצל כנפיך תסתירנו, 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 כי אל שומרנו, 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 מצילנו אתה, כי אל המלך חנון ורחום אתה, השכיבנו, השכיבנו לשלום, שלום, ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום אתה ועד עולם, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו וכל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
May everyone please to stand. Vishamru, page 46.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, נדון אותם ברית עולם, בני ובין בני ישראל ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבה וינפש. יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה, ועלמא דיברה קירותה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. ישמרה במברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ותדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמת קודשה בריחו ואלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
Silent, Shabbat Amidah, pages 47 through page 52.
יהיו לרצון עם רפי, יהיו לרצון, יהיו לרצון עם רפי, ויון ליבי, ויון ליבי לפניך, ויון ליבי, ויון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי, עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום עלינו, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום עלינו, עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen. And incidentally, with that tune, which I wrote, I told Cantor Shivers I was delighted to find out another cantor emailed me yesterday morning to tell me that she'll be performing it that night, which is last night, at a concert in New York. And she had heard me do it at this conference in January. I was like, oh, that's so, they're playing my song, that kind of feeling. And someone, does, if a tree falls in the forest, does it, I didn't hear it, but someone did, so I'm glad about that.
Did she attribute it?
She attributed it, and I'm waiting for her to post something online so I can share it with the congregation, but I don't know if she will. It's enough that she's doing it and she told me about it. It feels nice. Thank you.
Magen Avot, page 53.
מגן אבות מדברו מחיה מתים ממאמרו אל הקדוש אין כמוהו הלילה ללילה ללילה הלילה ללילה 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 המניח לימו מיום שבת קודשו טבעם רצה להניח להם לפניו נעבוד וירא ופחד ונודה לשמו מכל יום תמיד לילה ללילה ללילה לילה ללילה ללילה לילה ברכות הן להודעות אדון השלום מקדש השבת ברך שביעי ומניח בקדושה לעמד ושני עונג זכר מעשה וראשית לילה ללילה ללילה לילה ללילה ללילה Oh.
Dramatic end. Kaddish Shalom, page 54.
יגדל מקדש שמר רבה, ועל מה דיברה קירותי ומחמל חוטה, בחיי חון ומחון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב מרו, אמן. יש מרבה מברך, לאן אמון על מעל מאיה, יתברך וישתבח ויפר ותרומה וינשא ותדן ותעלה ויתעלל, שפט וקדושה בריחו, לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, ושפיכתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ומרו, אמן. תתקבל סתיאון ועתון דכל ישראל, קודם אבהון דבישמיה מרו, אמן. יש לומר רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו וכל ישראל מרו, אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו וכל ישראל וכל יושבי תבל וימרו, amen.
Before we recite the Kiddush, in the space in your program, Achenu. I found this week some I can't call it joy, but satisfaction that we have protesters in Gaza and protesters in Israel who don't like their leadership on either side. I take that as a positive sign. But we do certainly pray for a ceasefire, for the coming, for some sort of peace, and certainly for the return of the remaining hostages. Achenu kol Beit Yisrael.
אחינו כל בית ישראל, אחינו כל בית ישראל, הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. המקום ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצרה לרווחה.
ושיבו לי גאולה שתה בגלה ובזמן קריב המקום ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצרה לרווחה ומאפלה לאורה ושיבו לי גאולה שתה בגלה ובזמן קריב ונאמר amen.
Our brethren in the house, the entire house of Israel, who are in distress and captivity, those who stand between the sea and the dry land, may the Almighty have mercy on them and bring them from distress to relief, from darkness to light, and from bondage to redemption, speedily and soon.
Amen.
Kiddush. Page
55.
David, would you lead us in Kiddush? Let me ask everyone please to stand.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. Shabbat
Kodsho
kodsho
be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu
zikaron
Aseh
lema'aseh
Bereshit
Ki hu
Yom
yom
Tefillah Lemikra'ei Kodesh Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim
Kivanu bacharta ve'otanu kiddashta mikol ha'im v'shabbat kodshecha ve'avov ratzon inchaltanu.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen. L'chaim.
May be seated. Anybody notice that usually in an Orthodox, sometimes in a conservative Friday evening service, they don't say Kiddush? They don't recite Kiddush necessarily. Kiddush in the service is not for those who are going home and having dinner. Kiddush in the service is only for the wayfarers who happen to be in shul, who are going to be eating in shul after the service. So on the possibility that one or two of you are going home and will not do Kiddush, we did it here. Let me ask everyone please to stand for the Aleinu, page 56.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא שמסדרץ. על כן כדרכנו אלוהינו. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
May be seated. We ask those who are observing yard site or in mourning to please stand. You want to tell us who you're saying yard site, saying cottage for? Say cottage together. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'le'olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, Shemei Kudusha Barichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May God, who causes there to be peace in heaven, bring peace to us and to all humanity. And let us say, Amen. So announcements.
We have a few.
We have way too many announcements. Yeah. But I know, first of all, if you, there are still spaces for the second Seder here at Neve Shalom. So if you would like to make reservations for second Seder that's here, which is Sunday night, April 13th, beginning at 5 o'clock. Please be in touch with the office and make reservations. Kerry, you want to talk about the movie?
Well, also mention that the Seder will be led by Rabbi Kosak, his last time doing it for the congregate community, and he'll be back this week, back from his sabbatical. The movie is October 8, and sometimes it's spelled hate, and it is a very, people in the community, in the Jewish community everywhere in North America who've seen it, is moved by it, and there's a buzz about it in various conversations among the, cantors that have written, I went to see this, it's amazing, or my community went, it's amazing. Rabbis that I'm talking to as well, same sort of reaction, and just community members in general. And so when I first heard about it, I wanted to book it here at the congregation, and I was hoping to do it before it was publicly released, but the timing didn't work out. And it's just as well, I find that there's a lot of people who haven't had a chance to watch it in the theaters, or want to see it in community, to have a chance to be with each other, to go through this and experience this. And it's a movie that's really more about the response, the outpouring of anti-Semitism that they've seen over the last year and a half, and the nature of that, how it had an impact on them, and their reflections on it. And so I encourage you to come, and if you can, it's already, registration is required. We want it both for or administrative reasons and for security reasons. We already have about 150 people coming, and it's done jointly with the JNF USA and Stand With Us. On Wednesday, April 2nd at 7 p.m. right here. Okay, thanks.
Was last year the first year that the synagogue did a Maimuna celebration?
The Mimuna, we did it 2 years. We've done it 2 years, 2 or 3 already. 2, I think.
So this is a Moroccan tradition that I went to a Maimuna. It's not called Maimuna?
Mimuna.
Mimuna.
Mimuna, yes.
Celebration when I was in Israel. The Moroccan families, I think in order to qualify, you had to have at least 8 children. And they had all kinds of, it was a wonderful, in the big park, people came in their big platters, and it was like a picnic. They had various contests. The only contest I remember was to find the woman who had the most children. And I think the woman who they found that had 16 or 17 children. Big families.
This is not how we will celebrate it here.
So Cantor,
Yeah.
you only have two,
I have a perfect two.
so 16 yet to go.
I have no comment.
So the Maimuna celebration is going to be at the end of Passover on April 21st at 8 p.m.
6 p.m.
6?
Six.
I can't even see, 6 p.m. And also there's going to be a celebration of Rabbi Kosak, which is going to be celebrating the journey, a decade with Rabbi Kosak, at Taste of Israel on May 18th. So
Sunday, May 18th, yeah.
have some time for that.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I'm going to be away.
And Rabbi Isaac, Yasher Koach, and thanks, Shabbat Shalom, and thanks for sharing, for leading us this evening.
My pleasure. So, page 62.
Yes. יגדל. יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח, נמצא ואין נטל למציאותו, אחד ואין יחיד כייחודו, נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו, אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו, קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו, הינו אדון עולם וכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו לתנועל, אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו, לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד נביא ומביט את אמונתו, תורת אמת נתן לעמואל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו, לא יחל ישראל ולא ימיר דתו לעולמים לזולתו, צופה ויודע שתרנו, מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו, גומל לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע רע כרישתו, ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לפדות מחכה קץ ישועתו, נתיב מיכאל ורוב חסדו, ברוך עד שם תהילתו, נתיב מיכאל ורוב חסדו, ברוך עד שם תהילתו.
Mr. Koch, Cantor.
Yeah.
So the Cantor's not going to be here tomorrow morning, but you will, right? Service starts at 9:30, Shabbat Shalom.
And let's do the washing of the hands and the motzi. Let's potech et yadecha u'masbia lechol ratzon.
Right.
Would you like the honors? Or either way. How many clergy does it take to? Amen.
Brings forth bread from the earth.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Did what? Yeah, Michelle came by. They came in for a little while. She was around. I saw them just hanging out and stuff, and then she was waiting. So you're not here tomorrow? I'm not here tomorrow. A lay lecture. Sometimes it's clergy and lay leaders meet together. I need a break, so I'm yeah.